All of a sudden, next thing you know, they're hooking up. And that's what everyone is saying right now.
Who's hooking up?
Hey guys, it's Sinead hanging out here at Clevver with Madelaine Petsch from CW's Riverdale. Super excited to talk to her. Obviously, Riverdale has taken over, right? Did you ever expect it to get this big so fast?
I mean, I hoped it would, obviously, and I had lots of faith in the work that we've been doing, but I'm so beyond thrilled that people are actually liking it as much as I hope they did.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so Madelaine plays Sheryl Blossom. Why did you want to play such an interesting character?
Well, I mean, who doesn't want to play the villain?
Mm-hmm,
right?
It's fun.
She's very much the funnest character on the show, and I've got the best wardrobe. But besides that, she's also written really beautifully in a way where she's got the depth of a really three-dimensional person, which I feel like villains don't really get that other side very often. So I think I got lucky enough to be able to play both sides of the spectrum. Very opposite sides of the spectrum.
Totally, and that's so funny that you say that because recently we've seen a very sensitive side to her that you almost don't know whether or not to believe it because she started out so crazy, but she has a softer side to her, and we kind of see that with her relationship with Veronica. So where would you like to see their friendship go throughout the season?
You know, we already finished the season, so I know where it goes. But in my own mind, I wished that they would, kind of become allies. And they do, I mean, in a way, become allies in episode 5. And Veronica sees a little piece of Cheryl's world and how it's actually a really broken and sad and miserable place, and she's kind of living in her own purgatory. And I think Veronica understands that and will continue to reach out to Cheryl and show her that she's there and supporting her no matter what Cheryl does, which makes Veronica a much better person than Cheryl.
Totally. All right, so if you had to give advice to anyone that was moving to Riverdale, besides don't, what would your advice to that person be?
Stay away from the Blossoms.
Yeah, they're crazy,
Far
right?
away from the Blossom family.
What is up with Cheryl and Jason's parents? They're nuts, absolutely nuts. Just when you think they can't get crazier, they do.
I know. So Jason was the golden boy, and the parents loved him, and they kind of coddled him, and they pushed Cheryl to the back burner, and she was constantly being kind of mentally and emotionally tortured by her family, and then her mom started abusing her, and Jason kind of took care of her and took him under her wing. They're nuts. They're literally nuts. They want Jason to take over the company, right? Because they have the maple syrup farm, and I'm no good to them because I'm a female.
Right. It's very old school, traditional way of thinking.
Very old school, yeah.
Will we see Cheryl have a love interest?
Kind of. You get a little hint of a love interest.
Okay.
A couple of times.
Okay, she's kind of the only one that we haven't seen show any interest in anybody. You think that that's reflective of the type of person that she is? Because she's really independent. I said dependent. She's really independent.
Well, I like that she's a strong and independent woman. I think you don't see that a lot on television, unfortunately. You generally see people paired together. That being said, it's very indicative of the way that she was raised. I mean, she was raised to kind of defend for herself. That's just the way she has to be. So I think she kind of doesn't trust anybody. She doesn't let anybody in, so that kind of doesn't allow for her to have relationships.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go there for a second. There's a lot of talk surrounding Cheryl and Jason's relationship, right? So we see it all the time. You get introduced to a wonderful family, right? Siblings. They've got this great sibling love thing going on. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're hooking up. And that's what everyone is saying right now.
Who's hooking up?
Cheryl and Jason.
I'm sorry, did you watch a different episode?
No. Bear with me here. So there are a couple of theories right now circulating. We'll get into some more theories.
Some of them.
Yes, and they're nuts, but we'll get into those. The internet is a lovely, lovely place. But there is one theory that I've seen come up a lot, that Cheryl and Jason maybe had something more than just sibling love for one another. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, Roberto and I talked about it a lot, and we love to throw the word twincest around on set. We think it's funny, but in reality, I mean, if we're going to be all serious about it, it is it's a love that nobody understands. We're twins, so they've got that strong bond. But on top of that, he was the only person who loved her or ever cared about her. Her family didn't really care at all and didn't show her love, and he was the only person she had in her life, the only person she let in. So it was just this strange bond that nobody else understands, and to her it's when you walked down the street and hold your dad's hand when you were a kid. That was kind of Jason for her. So all of those things that they did together were normal for maybe parent relationships or whatever, but it was because she had no one else.
Oh, that's actually really sweet.
Yeah, and once I explain it, people get it. But right now everyone's oh yeah, they're doing something.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I guess it's just like the way the show starts too. It's kind of like the first relationship that you're introduced to. And I guess we're so used to like these core relationships in shows, but it's kind of interesting that this core relationship is really like adoration and love for one another on not a twincesty level.
Not at all. I mean, I think that there's a little obsession from Sheryl to Jason because he has all these friends and he has this family that she's always wanted. So he has other people and she doesn't have anybody else, especially once he, you know, kicks the bucket. But, you know, she gets through it in her own interesting way.
Yeah. Do you think that there's hope for her without him by her side? Because the story that she tells when she gives the eulogy about how he decided to not tell her that nobody wanted to come to the birthday party, gut-wrenching. Yeah. Do you think that, what would Sheryl have to do in order to make some real friends of her own?
She'd have to take down the facade, man. Like, she needs to, like, get rid of that, like, really mean exterior and just be the broken girl that she is, because I genuinely believe that if she did that and walked up to Betty and Veronica, they would take her in with open arms.
Right.
You know?
Oh, but she's so, you have to love that hard side of her too, right?
Yeah, I love it.
It's the best.
I mean, I love it.
Yeah, it's
How
super
could you
fun.
not, right?
I know. So there's a scene in the episode where we have to say goodbye to Grundy, right?
Episode 4.
Yeah, a lot of crazy people in this show, you guys. If you haven't watched it, like, basically everybody has a hidden agenda, but it makes it more exciting. So she obviously has a thing for younger guys, and there's a couple theories we'll get to a little bit later, but she kind of makes this weird look at
those two boys.
Yes.
Very Lolita.
Just when you thought you should feel bad for her being kicked out of town, she kind of gives you a reason to doubt her again. So would you kind of like to see her come back in a way that puts her in a lot of trouble in all of this? Wouldn't it be awesome?
Yeah, I've always kind of been like anti-Grundy in a weird way.
Yeah.
She was definitely never my favorite character, although I love Sarah who plays Grundy. So I'd love to see her come back and maybe actually have to deal with the consequences of her actions.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Just being kicked out of town.
Because she kind of got off easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There should have been some real consequences, not just like leave town for a little bit.
Can you imagine, like, if a high school found out? I mean, like, you'd go to jail, you'd be arrested for sure on the spot.
You'd be a sexual predator forever. I mean, yeah.
Riverdale
let her off easy.
I just love the way that we see her leave for the last time with the little heart-shaped glasses.
So cute, though.
It is really cute. So, will we know who killed Jason by the end of the first season?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so exciting!
Episode 12, so you've got one more after that to kind of see like the ties all together.
And like breathe it out.
Oh my god, so he wouldn't tell us who did it, Roberto, our showrunner, until we sat at the table and read the script.
Okay.
So I was like freaking out.
So real life reactions from the entire cast.
We were all like, we could not believe what happened. I mean, episode 12 is so crazy, and then 13 gets even crazier.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so excited.
Okay.
Like, it's so good. Like, it just gets crazier and crazier. Riverdale is more insane than you ever could have imagined, and all of us go crazy.
Yeah. Are you super excited for the fans to finally, like, get that satisfaction?
Yeah, I mean, some of the theories they come up with are insane. I'm like,
I know.
I don't even okay, well, that's great. Maybe you should write the show then, because that's a twist I never even thought.
Or, like, they come up with all these clues that somehow fit perfectly to match their theory,
Which
and I'm like...
that, like, we didn't do on purpose.
Yeah, right. Most of it's, like, coincidence, probably, but it's amazing. But that just shows how much...
How into it they are.
Yes, and how, like, dedicated the fans have become.
We have some great fans.
Why do you think that people love, like, a murder mystery so much?
I think we were kind of lucky because we came kind of built in with the Archie Comics fan base. It's such a diehard fan base. I mean, 75 years of comics. And then, I mean, murder mystery kind of keeps people in every single week. Like, you want to know who did it, so then they come back every single week to see who did it.
Yeah.
Another step closer.
Totally. And along with that, were you guys a little bit hesitant to take on such a beloved property? Like, were you worried that people were going to be like, what are you doing to my favorite comic?
That's a really good question. You know, I wasn't, because Sheryl wasn't really that prevalent in the comics, so I felt like I was kind of lucky. But when you read the comics and the difference in the universe between the comics and what we've created is so vast.
Yeah.
That there are some Archie Comics fans who are like, what did you do to Archie? But then there's a lot of people who are like, oh my god, this is so cool.
Totally.
Archie's so versatile. I mean, they had Predator come in, they had Sabrina come in, that we're just like another take on the Archie comics. We're not like taking over.
Very cool. I'm so excited. Episode 12, super soaked.
Episode 13, even better.
Oh, it's amazing.
Click left to check out the best TV show crossover episodes, or click right for some weird TV show and movie fan theories.